The Heart of Camp Bumblebee, a story about bravery, kindness, and one very special. Summer, let me tell you a story about a girl named Maya and the summer that changed everything. It all began with a bumpy yellow bus, rattling down the road, past wide open fields and whispering trees. Maya sat by the window, her backpack clutched tightly in her arms. Her heart was doing backflips. You see, this was her very first time away from home, and she didn't know a single person at Camp Bumblebee. She pressed her forehead to the glass and whispered, "What if I don't make any friends? What if I'm not brave enough?" But then, from somewhere deep inside, a small voice answered back, "Just try. One small step at a time." When the bus finally stopped, sunlight spilled through the trees like golden paint. The air was filled with laughter, and cheerful counselors waved as the campers stepped into this brand new world. Maya took a deep breath and stepped off the bus. Soon she found herself in Cabin Maple, along with three other kids who would end up meaning more to her than she ever imagined. There was Leo, with a laugh so big it felt like sunshine. Sasha, who strummed a tiny guitar and sang songs that calmed everyone around her. And Ben, quiet and thoughtful, who sketched everything he saw with careful eyes. Maya was still shy. She kept her voice soft and her smile small. But the next morning, something unexpected happened. At the camp meeting, Miss Ellie clapped her hands and asked, "Who wants to lead today's nature hike?" No one moved. No one spoke. Maya's heart beat faster. Her legs felt frozen. But somehow, her hand rose into the air. "I'll do it," she said, her voice just loud enough to hear. Miss Ellie smiled kindly and said, "That's the spirit." And just like that, Maya had taken her first brave step. The next day brought a new adventure. Maya's group paddled across the shimmering blue lake, the water sparkling under the sun, birds calling from the trees. Everything felt peaceful until a sudden gust of wind made Ben's sketchbook slip from his lap and sail into the air. Plop, it landed in the lake. Ben gasped, "No, my drawings!" Before she even had time to think, Maya leaned over with her paddle, reached out, and gently scooped the soggy book back into the boat. Water dripped from the edges, but the drawings were still there. Ben looked at her, eyes wide and stunned. "Thank you," he whispered. "That book is my favorite." Maya simply smiled, heart thumping. She hadn't meant to be a hero. She had just acted from her heart. And that's when she learned something she'd never forget. Kindness is its own kind of courage. By the middle of the week, it was time for the most exciting challenge of all, the Great Camp Bumblebee scavenger hunt. Cabin Maple huddled around a crinkled old map. Their mission? Find 4 things hidden somewhere across camp. A pine cone shaped like a heart, a sparkly rock, a feather from a bluebird, and something that made them laugh. They raced into the woods, shouting ideas and helping each other search. Sasha spotted a flash of blue near a bush. It was the feather. Ben picked up a rock that glittered like treasure. Leo, trying to impress a squirrel, tripped over a root and landed face first in the dirt. Everyone burst out laughing. Then Ben knelt near a tree and whispered, "Look!" Nestled among the pine needles was a tiny pine cone, perfectly shaped like a heart. When they returned to camp, they were sweaty, scratched up, and smiling wide. They had found all the items, but more importantly, they had found something far more special: trust, teamwork, and real friendship. That night, as the campfire crackled and stars blinked gently in the sky, Maya sat with Leo, Sasha, and Ben. She hugged her knees and looked at them, her heart full. "I was scared before I came here," she said softly, "but now I feel brave." Ben smiled and reached into his pocket. He handed her a folded piece of paper. It was a sketch of her, sitting in the canoe, holding his sketchbook with that small, brave smile. "Because of you," he said. They didn't need to say more. They sat together in silence, warmed by the fire and by something even deeper. Under the stars, they made a quiet promise to always believe in each other and in themselves. When Maya got home, she unpacked her bag slowly. There was her water bottle, her crumpled scavenger map, her flashlight, and then she saw it, the tiny pine cone, still shaped like a heart. She held it in her hand and smiled. Camp Bumblebee wasn't just a place in the woods anymore. It had become a part of her. She had walked in scared, but came back stronger, kinder, braver, because she'd learned something powerful. Courage doesn't have to be loud. You don't need to be the fastest, or the best, or the loudest. One small act of courage, one gentle moment of kindness, one choice to try, when trying feels scary. That's how you shine, just like Maya.